the recognized symbol of excellence in collecting podcasts.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Mighty Champions Action Figure Radio. This is a show where we talk about toys, action figures, and all that sort of thing. So if that is what you are into, you have come to the right place. My name is John Sargent.
And my name is Christian McGann.
We have got a loaded show, as we always do. We're going to get into some of the more obscure toy lines. We're going to break down the news of the week, which is heavy in McFarlane. And then we are going to talk about the past, the present, and the future of AEW Jazwares. You guys can follow along with the show on Instagram at Mighty Champions, and you can also subscribe to the show wherever you're hearing the sound of our voice, and it would mean the world to us if you could leave us a review. That is how the show grows. That's basically the only way that the show can grow. So if you love it, share your thoughts, leave a review. We'd love to hear from you guys. All right, Christian, you had a big baseball week, yeah?
By far the most amount of baseball that I think I've played in a 7-day period. So played Wednesday night, which today is Saturday. So played Wednesday, did a home run derby last night, played this morning at 11 in my hometown of Bastrop, Texas. Really surreal because I have only been playing the game of baseball for 5 years, and it has obviously become an insane obsession for me. So really weird to be like, have this weird full circle moment of like going and playing at that field where 5 years ago I was just like, okay, I'm going to try to learn how to play first base, and now playing at like competitive levels with it. So pretty cool. It was a hot day, that is for sure.
Yeah, it's crispy outside here in Texas.
But pretty good day. I'm not gonna lie. We won like 24-9. It was a crazy game. Basically, like
just eked it out, huh?
We eked it out. So I went 4 for 4.
Nice.
So 6 ABs, dude. That's crazy.
You walked twice?
I got hit by a pitch and then walked.
Wow.
Yeah, so, but I hit...
You get hit a lot.
Lately.
Yeah.
Almost in the same spot. That one, dude, the kid that hit me on Wednesday was throwing harder than the guy that hit me today. But, like, it just is like where it hits you is sort of dependent on, like, the level of tenderness.
Yeah.
Man, he hit me in a freaking prime USDA cut of steak, man, today. That one stung. I hate getting hit because I'm just like, why rob me of the AB?
Right.
And also now it hurts. But yeah, it was cool, man. Hit 3 singles and then a double. So
cool.
drove in some runs, had some good plays at first base. So my dad was there.
Awesome.
For a while. Yeah, he'll usually come and then he'll like typically leave a little bit later, and I'm like, hey dude, you're good. Like it's all good if you wanna, go out. But the weird thing is, man, is that like the people that were kind of like putting on like because this is one of the leagues I play in called the Sandlot League, and they are doing it in Bastrop now, which is again just like this mind blowing thing. Not that Austin and Bastrop are not far at all; they're ridiculously close,
adjacent towns.
Bastrop is very much a small town, and it's weird because like some of the people that are spearheading like the Sandlot are like a couple people that I'm. Excuse me.
You just almost threw up. I just had the place cleaned, so if you could keep everything inside, that'd be great.
We'll blame it on the dog. No, but I've known them my whole life.
Yeah.
And I didn't say one word to them, nor did they say one word to me. And I was just like, do I just like go, hey, what's up? Good to see you. Like, whatever. I just did. But there was like this hint of like, they would just sort of stand next to me, and I'm just kind of like, I don't really care, man. I'm sorry. But
it's so awkward.
It was a little awkward. But yeah, it was a good time. And yeah, I play tomorrow at 9:30 in the more competitive league. And that one I'm a little nervous about just because I'm just like, I'm strong. I train really hard in the gym, but I don't run, and I don't train for running. And I think it's pretty apparent because like I'm dealing with like just some stiffness in the old hamstring that is just not fun every time I step on the gas. But you know, it's cool, man. I think it's really weird because we talked about this. This part actually got cut out of one of the last podcasts we did because I think the mics just stopped working at some point.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, but we kind of talked about sort of like the mental shift because like both you and I have, you know, many irons in the fire. We both work at your we work at your gym. I'm a trainer, you're the owner of the gym. And then you do martial arts, I do baseball. We both collect toys. We have a toy podcast. I have another podcast. And it's like that mode switching, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, switch from mode to mode to mode to mode to mode. And it's like we kind of occupy the same brain space most of the time, but it's weird from like the mode switching. So like this week has just been so like just prominent with the baseball and just like competing to the point where it's like not only am I getting like the physical side of things, but it's also just like the mental thing where it's like, you know, we played Wednesday, tough game. I went 0 for 3, like 2 strikeouts and a hit by, or I think a fly out or pop out or something like that. Went to sleep that night, had nonstop anxiety baseball dreams until I woke up, and it was just like, holy crap. You know, it's just weird. It's like, and obviously like it's for fun, but like, you know, taking it serious is you're just going to pay the cost.
You take it another level of serious too. You live in your head.
I do live in my head, but and when I tell people, especially like as a trainer, for people who like, you know, like you'll have clients that they'll ask me like, oh, like what are traits of like people who have like become more successful in their fitness career? And a lot of the time it's like, you know, there's like the obvious traits, which is just like discipline and showing up and consistency. But the other ones are typically like neuroticism, right?
I always, when I used to train full time, I would tell people there are people that need to be pushed from behind, and there are people that need to be reined in.
Yes.
And there's not really anybody else.
Yeah.
You need to be reined in.
I do need to be reined in, and like I do tell people because it's like it's hard to communicate the way that I think about it. I mean, you're the closest person that I think understands it the most.
And I would rather work with professionally, competitively, whatever, with a person who needs to be reined in than a person who needs to be pushed from behind.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like almost exclusively.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, but I try to explain that all the time, and it just feels like there's a disconnect. And I'm like, well, hey, there's a reason like why of having only played 5 years where like I would like hit off of an ex-pro player. Like I can hit a fastball like because of that obsession, because of that like mental game, right? But now it's just, again, it's like now I because I see that I have
There's
to. There's
probably some kind of correlation to collectors too, right?
Yeah,
like
obsession.
People who are prone to obsession.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like nostalgia is a drug, you know, and like,
man, did it bite me hard this week?
Holy crap!
I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah, no. So anyway, long story short, it's been a great week of baseball, and you know, playing tomorrow, and yeah, I mean, I think just like picking my time wisely. Like I got home from the home run derby last night, and like Samantha had ordered a pizza, so it's like, all right, that's a little bit
Great.
of like it's a great time.
Great. Dude, home run derby and pizza? Hell yeah.
Freaking awesome. And I'm like, man, like, you know, I need to, you know, I'm like, we're pulling up the TV. It's already like almost after midnight. And I'm like, I just need something to like be nothing. I need whatever's on this TV to be nothing because it's just my brain is so stimulated right now. So I put on Boy Meets World.
Sick.
I love learning the same lessons that Corey does. But
you can't cheat on your history homework.
Exactly. I'm just sitting there taking notes. But yeah, man. How about you?
Did you have time for any toys this week?
You know, I've been saving my bullets. As I've mentioned before, I have I think the last thing that I got was like when I went to San Antonio a couple weeks ago, like Easter Sunday, I think is what it was.
Dang.
Maybe. Yeah. So it's been a minute, but we have the Ekman's Toy Show this coming Saturday.
Yeah.
Right?
This upcoming weekend.
Yeah. So I'm cool to like save my bullets for that, you know?
Yeah.
I have kind of like a target in mind of just like what I'm looking to spend. But honestly, I think just like being in that environment, I think it's just like, I'm just more excited for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, hey, if I find some cool stuff which we talked about going to Retromania and coming up empty-handed essentially, and how bad we wanted to freaking pick it outside of their,
right.
But yeah, man. But yeah, you got some toys.
Well, I also had what you're talking about having to shift mindsets. So I talked about it on the podcast, and I talked about it even more in depth with you, but the previous almost 2.5 months for me, work-wise, without boring the listeners with the details, was ludicrous. Just absolutely insane. And if I ever had a spare half hour to rub two thoughts together in that time period, it was kind of a minor miracle, let alone to get workouts in or make it to martial arts, right? So I was traveling multiple times and then working 60 hours a week, and it was a wild time period. So then this last week that just happened, things kind of settled down for me back to homeostasis. So what did I do? I filled any time that would have been free time with working out. I went immediately back to working out 3 days a week and immediately back to martial arts 3 days a week, which are 2-hour endeavors.
Yeah.
Dude, I could barely keep my eyes open right now.
Yeah.
I am smoked. But I love it. I'm not complaining at all. And on top of that, it was my girlfriend's birthday week. So extra socializing, extra events to do. But all positive, right? All good stuff. Really, really fun. But what I was doing at night, because I just want to chill, is just pick a movie, right? Watch a movie. Same mindset. Let me watch something.
What's funny is that's your routine generally, right?
Yeah.
You're a huge physical media.
Probably 3 movies a week.
So when I'm thinking about that, it's that's generally already what you do. So then your thought process is
but
what
it's
movie?
What? It's
yeah,
what,
exactly.
Right? I'm not going to watch something new because then I have to use my brain to decide how I feel about it, or it could be haunting, or it could be...
I watched the same 5 shows for the last decade, and that's all I do.
No, I'm not looking to get a feeling that I don't anticipate, right?
Yeah.
So
what'd you watch?
So what I do is I keep a letterbox watch list, and this way I can work my way through multiple franchises and not have to remember where I left off.
Yeah.
Right? And my number 2 movie on my top 300 is Rocky.
Oh.
And the last movie I had watched in the series was the first one, so it's time to watch Rocky 2. So, watch Rocky 2, come away with it with these different eyes. I've seen it hundreds of times. I've talked about it on here before. Every Friday, my dad took me to the video store, and every Friday, I got 2 Rocky movies. I would get one.
You never mentioned that.
I would get 1 and 2, and then the next week, I would get 3 and 4, and then the next week, I would get 5 and 1, and then I would just keep on going like that.
Wow.
For ages. And then they were always on cable also, right? So I've seen them all. I don't even know how many times. It is, until the MCU existed, and maybe even still, possibly, my favorite movie franchise. Seen it dozens and dozens and dozens of times. But I watched Rocky 2, and then I was like, man, I just saw it through different eyes because I'm older, because I haven't seen it in 8 years. Okay. When Danielle and I first started dating, she wanted to watch all of them, and we went through the whole series, and I'm pretty sure that's the last time I saw it.
Okay.
And we've been together for 140 years. So then I was like, man, I think it's maybe as good as the first. Okay. When Adrian says win, that's right up there with Avengers Assemble. That's next level movie stuff right there.
I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
Oh my God, it's so good, dude. I wanted to go work out right then. I was watching it because I was tired. And I was like, let's go work out.
It said Danielle walks in on you just doing push-ups in your boxers. What are you doing? It's Rocky.
Training
to
beat Apollo.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I have got to have Rocky represented in my toy room. I have to, right? I have a poster of Rocky versus Apollo, an actual fight promotion poster, but that's it. And the DVDs. I was like, I gotta have toys, dude. This means toys to me. And then I remembered, oh yeah, Jakks made Rocky toys. So I go on eBay, I start looking them up. Dude, they're the exact same body style as the WWF Classic Superstars. They're essentially the same figures, but they're these amazing depictions of the 6 Rocky movies. They don't go into Creed, but it goes through Rocky Balboa.
Okay.
It's got all the key moments, all the key players. It's got an accessory pack that's like meat and a towel.
Yeah.
It's got like Jim Lampley and Mike Tyson and these people who just like waved at a fight, right? They're in the series.
Wow.
Joe Frazier, like Apollo pre-fight, Apollo post-fight, Mickey from each movie, everybody, dude. It's like thorough, and they look good. Last week I talked about the trifecta, right?
Yeah.
Posability, articulation, and likeness, or sorry, toyeticness. It nails all three of the trifecta. The only downside is they're crazy expensive on the aftermarket.
That's so weird.
They're like $60, $70, $80.
Okay.
Before shipping. And some of them are 120, 150 up into that range. So I spent like a couple hours going through them, looking at them from most expensive, least expensive, most expensive, figure out which figures kind of land in what price range. Do I like these figures enough to pay what they cost? Yes, I do. And I will. Starting in June, because May's budget ain't there, brother.
Loose?
No.
Okay.
On card. Possibly both. I might do the double up club. I might get them on card, on the wall, and do them loose. Or at least like a couple loose to spruce up the DVD collection or something like that. Because they're like, I don't know if you've ever touched a Jakks wrestling figure. They're like a little bit cartoony, like extra jacked. Like everybody's got huge arms but it fits this world so well. And the packaging, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God, is it clean? It has a little sticker that tells you which movie and like the actor and stuff, like the cross sell on the back. The cleanest packaging. Yeah, the Jakks Pacific Rocky line.
It's weird to me because you don't really think like sports figures or UFC figures or that type of thing does well, but then somehow Rocky, there's like a correlation between Rocky and toy collecting and the market. There's a market for it.
We haven't figured out why something is toys and why something isn't toys, right?
Yeah.
But this Rocky's toys.
Yeah.
It just is toys, man. It's superheroes. It's lore.
Yeah.
It's mythical. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like Rocky is a mythical creature. Yeah, so like that is.
I mean, they have a statue of him, right? And
it's in Philadelphia.
They
moved it away from the library, but it's still there. It's still in Philadelphia.
That's crazy.
Millions of people a year take pictures with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember watching them for the first time, and I thought it was real.
Yeah.
Like I was
telling Danielle, I was raised by Rocky and Adrian.
Yeah.
They were more parents to me than my parents were. Like, I just get emotional about these characters, man. Like, they feel like family to me.
Well, I probably told this on the podcast because I feel like I did, but I remember one time one of my buddies was wearing a Rocky shirt. And we went to the store, and there was like 5 people that like stopped to be like, well, I love Rocky. That's some of my favorite movies I've ever seen in my life.
You guys were in Brooklyn?
And where's Rocky at?
Philadelphia.
Philly? But they all sound like they're from Brooklyn.
You're a bum.
Yeah, and then another lady was like, I had cancer, and every single day I would watch Rocky 1, 2, and 3, and I beat cancer because of Rocky. And I was like, what are we living in right now?
Dude, it changes people's lives,
I was like,
man.
I've never heard that about anything but it's just straight up. And like, you know, the story of like how he got that movie made.
They're making a movie about the story of how he got it made.
Yeah. He like gave away he sold his dog for like $10 or something like that, and then bought his dog back, and his dog's in the movie. You know, so
yeah, it's wild stuff. But so that my collecting chi is now fully gathered for that.
Yeah.
I'm still going after other stuff for sure, but I think everything else is going to go to if I see it.
Yeah.
All the vintage stuff is like if I should run into T2, if I should run into Predator, if I should run into Turtles.
Yeah.
Rocky's going to be, I'm on the hunt for this on eBay and out in the world. I've never seen them in the wild.
I think Toy Hunters had some.
I don't remember seeing them.
I think you actually looked at it and were like, dang. And I think maybe the price was, or unless it was another.
Were they in box? I think it was a different line.
Maybe a different line.
I think it was a different line. But yeah, so that's kind of where I've been at. Also this week, I don't know if you saw this. Danielle got high on caffeine and reviewed my toy room on her Instagram. I reposted it at Mighty Champions. She has been doing this thing called Danielle Reviews like the whole time I've known her, for like here and there, just for fun, just for giggles, where she reviews like boring, like one time she did like hospital art, like the art in a hospital she was in, like, and stuff like that, and it's for comedic effect.
Poetic in some ways.
She decided to do my toy room, and just
I didn't see it.
basically roasted it. Like, first thing she said was vibe check.
Is that why you blanket and pillow over here on the couch?
It was genuinely hilarious, but yeah. So I reposted it at Mighty Champions if you guys are interested in seeing my girlfriend basically roast my toy room. And actually, pretty good she did a pretty good job of just displaying my toy room, and I had multiple people at work come up to me this week because one of our coworkers showed it to her clients. Then they're coming up to me going, "I hope that's insured." Like they're like, "I can't believe," they're like, "It's actually very organized." I'm like, "Yeah, what did you think it was?
Yeah,
just toys on the floor, like, you know what I mean, like a kid." Like multiple people came up to me and were like, "Whoa."
Man, it's another one of my clients brought up collecting because he'll ask like how the podcast is going, and I'll talk to him about it. And he was saying that eventually he's like, it's just like once you get older, you're just like, eh. And I've talked to a couple like toy shop people where like a lot of the time you ask them like, hey, so what do you collect? And they're like, I don't, And then eventually like one guy was saying, I reached the end and I'm done with it because I didn't want to have to move it or whatever. And so I'm talking to him about that, and he's just saying, like, kind of jumping on about how, like, oh yeah, it'll be really tricky to have to move these sort of really little valuable things. I'm like, well, they're not. It's like a Power Ranger I bought for $8, but like, so it's not really like
you're
super,
just being overly precious about it.
Yeah, and it's like,
or maybe I'm just an absolute psycho, but I know where every accessory of every single one of these things is at. It might take me a minute to pair them up. But like Google Lens exists. If I had to move, would it take more time? For sure. Yeah. Could it be done? Oh yeah. Like pretty easily, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you like really everything could just have their own box. You know what I'm saying? Like their own crate.
Yeah, I got a lot of room to grow before it's like hoarder territory.
I'm trying to outrun that process. Like Samantha wanted to move like a month before our lease was like due for like re-signing, and I was like, no, there's just no way. Like I'm not about to just try to have to like move all of these items just because of whatever. So managed to like sway her to do another year, but even then I'm just like, I got no need to move, I got no need to move. And and specifically it's like that's one of the things that I'm just not looking forward to that, but do you want to get into the AEW?
Yeah, I do. Let's do that.
Oh, look at this! Look at this! Making a statement here! Can you believe this?
That's right, JR. Now kids big and small can relive their favorite AEW moments at home with the brand new Unrivaled collection by Jazwares.
The Judas Effect. The Crossroads. Super Kick Party! The Trigger!
AEW Unrivaled this August.
All right, so on last episode, we talked about in the news that the news had broken. I believe Kyle Peterson was actually the first person to report it, so he must have the inside track. But that a lot of people at Jazwares were laid off, and the entire AEW team was laid off. Which obviously does not bode well for AEW Jazwares. On a side note, in the interim, Tony Khan was asked about this.
Who's that?
Tony Khan owns AEW.
Okay.
He's the owner. He's the sole owner of AEW. Okay. It's not a public company. It's one man.
Wow.
And somebody asked him like if that was the case, and he said, I'm paraphrasing here, this isn't the exact quote, but he basically said, yes, there's changes that are coming, but they're probably going to be positive changes. Something to that effect. So, Not really sure what that means, but I don't think any differently that it's just over.
Yeah.
But it changes what comes next. So I just wanted to take some time to like kind of reminisce, about AEW Jazwares, and then also talk about.
Did Jazwares come out and say like this isn't happening?
There hasn't been an official statement.
So then we don't even really know. This is just speculation at this point. You can take a wild.
Yeah, but I mean, we do. Yeah, we don't actually.
Yeah, because I'm like,
anything.
I feel like there's no.
There's no hard evidence, but like, there's a lot of smoke, like a lot. And I was predicting this. Other podcasts, other YouTube
we talked
channels,
about it like a couple months ago.
Everybody's been thinking this was coming down the line for a very long time. I went for the purpose of this segment. I was trying to go back and see which pre-orders are still in limbo, things like that. Oof. And they didn't have a post in 2026 on their Instagram account. So like, this has been coming. You know what I mean? Like November 25 is the last post that they made.
That's
like
pretty weird.
This is not shocking.
Yeah.
It is. So I believe it. I don't think that Kyle Peterson would say it if he didn't have a source that he trusted. And they probably either just don't care enough to make the statement or it's impending from Jazwares.
Yeah.
Right. So, but my kind of history with the AEW figures is they started coming out in 2020. And I've talked about how hard that year was for me. And how AEW was one of the few things that was really keeping me out of the abyss. And I didn't collect at the time. I wasn't collecting figures at the time. And I believe it was for Christmas, Danielle got me the first wave, which was the Young Bucks, Hangman Adam Page, Jon Moxley, Chris Jericho, maybe Kenny. So she got me the first wave, and it was like, I love AEW. I do like action figures. Now I've got these action figures. But I don't collect action figures, but it's cool to have these action figures. And then I just kind of had this like interest in who was going to be in the next wave, how good of a job are they doing with them, because that first wave was kind of whack. Like really high effort, like cloth goods, outfits and attires that they had worn on TV. Like the Young Bucks were wearing these like Elvis outfits because the first pay-per-view was in Vegas. But they had this gray skin color. Like, see the top shelf, the second row, the guy all the way to the right, that's Hangman Adam Page. And see how he's gray in compared to everyone else? That's those early series.
Gotcha.
And then they did remedy that, but like those early days was like, who is Jazwares and why are they making gray action figures for this low level second, B company? Right. But they were like, you could see that there was something there. And then as time went by, they did get a little bit better, and a little bit better, and a little bit better. And they got to the point where I kind of was like, when I made the decision, I think I've talked about it on here before, I was playing this X-Men game on my phone, or a Marvel game where you like collect teams. And that was what made me be like, why am I doing this digitally?
Right.
Let me do this physically. I'm going to Walmart right now. And I got FTR, and I think... I don't remember who else, but definitely FTR, and that was kind of the big boom that created, like, I am a collector of action figures now. So, like, it's got this, like, kind of special place in my heart because of those two things. But, like, as a whole, it's really weird to look back on it. I've kind of spent this week thinking about it, and I do believe they're going to hold a similar position to, like, how you look at Toy Biz Marvel Legends. Or how I look at WWF Hasbro.
Interesting.
It has a beginning and end now.
Yeah.
The figures that are released, there's your checklist.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? Like, so if somebody wanted to get into it right now, the same way that we do with vintage, they're not technically vintage, but you would collect them in the same way that you would collect vintage. It's all aftermarket going forward. Because sure as heck not going to be at Walmart and Target anymore.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a cool thing, right? Like, I thought about it the other day. I was like, there might come a day down the road where I go, I'm going to be an AEW Jazwares completist. Because I love them. I love that it existed. And, like, I'm happy that it was around. And some of them are some of my favorite figures I've ever touched, like Will Ospreay, Darby Allin. Like, some of them are just, like, so unbelievably well constructed, and pose and likeness and paint app. The Brody King that I've showed you, where it's got all of his tattoos and he's covered in blood. They couldn't do that in toys like 5 years ago.
Sure.
Just couldn't do it.
Right.
Like stuff like that. Was it all good? No.
A lot of Ross exclusives.
A lot of Ross exclusives. A lot of really bad like street clothes.
Yeah.
Staining issues because they would arrive wearing a black shirt or black jacket or something, and it would stain the plastic, never to be fixed. Long development cycles where they would release a character such as Kyle Fletcher 2 years after they've had an extreme appearance change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where you're like, I don't want this anymore. It's like too soon to be vintage to that character and too late to care.
Well, maybe that is what is like, maybe the sole owner was just like, what's going on with this? Like,
I do think there was a little bit of that.
Like, rather than them just being like, we're going to terminate, and then like our company, like Jazwares company, is falling apart, which probably could be the case. But then it's like, but what if both of that, like that is happening on one end, and then the guy is stepping in and be like, dude, we're going to probably pull the license.
So we've talked about this before. I know my best friend works for AEW.
Yeah.
And I have joked with him, get me an audience with Tony Khan, because I see these things that need to be corrected, that he needs to be holding their feet to the fire on, if he cares that much about it.
We'd love for you to meet with this guy. Who is he? Well, his name's John.
He buys toys.
He buys the action figures. And he's outside if you want to go grab him. Is that the guy wearing shorts and a tie?
And a backwards Giants hat?
Exactly.
So I think you might be right. I think Tony Khan probably wasn't happy with this partnership all along. Because like we talked about last week, Jazwares is... The reason I didn't know who they were before AEW is because they'd make stuff that I don't care about, like Squishmallows and Pokemon. Which means that they're a license to print money. They're a gigantic, successful, massive company. And this whole time, AEW has been a lesser concern.
Exactly. Dude, so was it last week's episode, Toy Lines That We Hate? Freaking Plushmallows or whatever they're called. $35 for a giant corn that has a smiley face?
For 6-year-old girls, relax.
Well, when my girlfriend's like, can you buy this for me? And I'm like, and I look at the cost, $35. I'm like, no! It's a giant freaking watermelon with a smiley face.
But
like,
dude, they're the most popular toy.
They are, which is probably, again, and I would imagine that, because what is it, WWE?
Yeah.
Is that that's more popular probably still? Or what do you think?
I don't think anything is ever going to outsell whatever little girls are interested in.
No. I meant like between the two.
Between AEW and WWE?
Yeah.
Oh, it's light years. That WWE is 40 years ahead and makes 15 times as much money on every single day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I'm thinking like there's always a competition to compete between the two.
Yeah. So
and then he probably was like, man, the toy difference is
so
like...
that was a bullet point I've got here, the competition.
Yeah.
So yes, Tony Khan wants to compete with WWE, even though he can't, but like get closer. But the other way of looking at it is that AEW forces WWE to compete nonstop, and that includes action figures. AEW has their Blood and Guts line, which is awesome, right? Anytime somebody has a really noteworthy, really bloody match, it ends up in figure form. Britt Baker, Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega, Darby versus Brody.
Yeah.
These like iconic bloody moments. Next thing you know, Mattel's putting out a Steve Austin covered in blood. They never, ever have shown blood before. Well, that's weird timing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Things like that. Right? Forcing the competition to change what they're doing. That doesn't happen without AEW Jazwares and their existence. Forcing them to make sure that their quality is on point, their scale is on point. Keeping the WWE figures from getting complacent because they have no competition. Right? So that's all because of AEW Jazwares. The other thing is that they chose very strange characters to make and obscured very obvious characters along the way, right? They have a Luminaries line, which is like legends,
Okay.
right? Sting, for instance, like old guys or retired guys or things like that who are announcers or backstage or something now, but were legends back in the day. They didn't make a ring gear Taz. They didn't make Dean Malenko. They didn't make the natural Dusty Rhodes. They didn't make Arn Anderson. They have all these mega legends that were working for them that they just never made. But they did make Riho and Nyla Rose and Anna Jay and John Silver. And they made these like ones that will go straight to Ross and will have no aftermarket value ever.
Wow.
So that was a thing that probably held them back a little bit as well. So as far as the past goes, some good, some bad, some ups, some downs, some weird distribution problems, some weird character selection problems. But a lot of that now doesn't matter because you make your checklist, the ones that you want, and you hunt those.
Yeah.
Right? They're all available. They made a lot of them, so there will always be an aftermarket. Right? I would say, though, far more good than bad. Like, far more good than bad. Any of these toy lines that we love, that's the case. There's good and bad, right? There's really bad Toy Biz Marvel Legends. Yeah. There's really bad Hasbro WWF or whatever toy line, right? Yeah. I'm just using those as an example because we hunt them and love them. Okay, that's the past. Let's talk about the present. I could not find anywhere some of the stuff that we talked about in the news that had been released, like I want to say like a year ago on the news of like, these are coming. But I couldn't find what those were, so I'm going off of memory here. I thought there was a Smart Mark Sterling from the Major Wrestling Figure podcast. I'm pretty sure that is the case. And then I think there was another Swerve Strickland and Prince Nana. But I do know for sure that there's a Hiroshi Tanahashi. What's going to happen to these figures?
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, where I was like, well, whatever new ones just came out.
Yeah, Unmatched Series 13 with Hook, Kenny Omega, Statlander, and Fletcher is like out. But out where? Because it's not being distributed.
Well, what happens to their royalties for their action figures?
Yep.
Like, and then maybe they're just like, yo, Smart Mark, we're just going to pull the plug on you.
Dude, I feel if his figure doesn't come out, so what also could happen with these people... I would.
Oh, okay.
I would, based on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast.
Yeah.
And I love him as a television character. He is hilarious.
Got it. All right.
He'll come out whenever they're in Texas. He comes out when the cameras are not on and just talks about how bad the barbecue is and all this kind of stuff. Then the cameras turn on and everyone's like, boo! They come back from commercial. He's just getting booed.
That's good.
Yeah, he's amazing. Good. But what could happen is those figures never see the light of day, right? But the other thing that could happen is they become aftermarket grails because they never actually got released, but they do exist. They're somewhere.
Warehouse find.
So the Smart Mark Sterling, could it be really sad that a toy guy who is an advocate for your Ethan Pages and your Danhausens and all these guys that didn't have toys that do now, he's the one banging the drum for them to get their first figure? If he doesn't get his first figure, it would be sad. But if his first figure is a green card 1, 2, 3 kid scenario where it's like, we didn't even know this existed, how do you have that? Oh my god, where'd you get it? Kind of grail kind of thing. That would actually be cool, right? He'd be stoked about that, I think. So the Hiroshi Tanahashi, which is a partnership with New Japan, how does New Japan feel about this? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of weird stuff that's in limbo right now. Yeah. And that Unmatched Series 13, which is on Ringside Collectibles, but it won't go to Target and Walmart. Does it just go straight to Ross? How does that work? I don't know.
Man, it's weird because it's like you could almost... So you're already doing like some detective work, but it's like there probably could be more where you're just like, going and looking a little bit further somewhere, someone is saying something, or
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. So I don't know. As far as those ones that are just hanging out somewhere,
In
I'm really
cyberspace,
interested to see what happens to them and what happens to the value of them.
Yeah,
All right. Lastly,
the future.
the future, right? What does the future hold? I think AEW is a big enough property, and it's growing at present. The television product this year and last year has been really, really good. They have buttoned up some bad habits as far as like Tony Khan chirping at WWE on Twitter and releasing video of CM Punk getting in a fight and all this kind of undisciplined stuff they were guilty of. They've buttoned all that up, and then the creative is really good. The ratings are going up. The ticket sales are going up. They've got a new deal with Warner Brothers. When Warner Brothers sells to Paramount, that could change things very, very positively for them as far as like the size and the how many eyes they have on them. All of this is to say that most of your mid-level and above toy companies would probably like to have this license, right? Like, why would you not? It's every week, every Wednesday on TBS. It's not small time.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so I mean, you may already be leading into this, but when we think about the big names in the toy space, Hasbro doesn't have wrestling right now.
Hasbro doesn't have wrestling, and they haven't done wrestling since they did WWF in the 90s. So, could they? They have it. They have the tooling, right? They have
Marvel Legends bodies.
They have person-sized tooling of jacked people, right? Yeah. I don't feel like it fits them because of the other stuff that they do. I wouldn't say that it's impossible. It just doesn't seem like, if you just look at their like portfolio, so to speak.
Yeah, it's a little too like, they're a little too like PG or like G-rated.
Yeah, and AEW is not a kids show.
Yeah, it's not.
There's a lot of blood. There's a lot of butts. You know what I mean? It's an adult wrestling show.
Yeah,
they cuss. You know what I mean? It's sort of a spiritual successor to ECW.
So then you need like a more indie brand that's got some money.
Huevos.
Yeah.
And so here's the list that I kind of had. My preference, I would drop to my knees and thank Crom Jada. if Jada gets AEW and makes them cartoony, big, jacked, like monster kind of figures that look exactly like Street Fighter.
Are they Japanese-based toy company?
I don't know where they're from.
Because that could potentially be maybe why they wouldn't go for something like that, but they only do the Street Fighter, right?
No, they do Mega Man.
Okay, so
they do Scooby-Doo.
Interesting.
So they've got things, and they appear to be a company that is very very
Altered Beast. Do they do that too?
No, that's Jakks.
Okay.
They seem like hell bent on growth. You know what I mean? They're trying to steal shelf space from everybody else, right?
Dude, honestly, man, like, because that, in my opinion,
they have Star Wars.
Oh, well.
They're doing that like remote control walking at.
Oh, okay. But dude, if you went back, because like, all right, well, if Mattel is doing like realistic,
they're
type
American
action figures. Okay,
they are in California.
There you go. If Mattel is doing like realistic action figures for wrestling, what would it look like if you just made them more action? You know, like
that's my thought process. Is okay. Trying to
Camo Carnage, freaking
yeah.
What's his name? Like make it like that.
If you're trying to hold the same ground as WWE and it didn't really pan out, let's not do that then. If that is what happens, I'm for that as well. But like, let's get them a little bit more jacked and a little bit more action figure-y. Let's like across the industry.
Yeah. This
dive into Star Wars that I did last week has made me like realize, let's get toys that look like toys now. I'm kind of we did the like realistic. Let's get some toys going here, you know? So Jada would be my first choice. I also think Boss Fight Studios would be a really solid company to throw their hat into the ring. I don't think they've got the distribution.
Yeah.
they do wrestling figures. They do CMLL and they do MLW and things like that, and they do a really good job. They look really good. They feel really good. They would need to level up a little bit, and they would need to increase their distribution a ton, but they could do it.
Yeah.
I also think Super 7 has made wrestling figures in the past for New Japan.
But they were the same thing, though, right? Where it was like they're waving goodbye.
Hard to say, right?
Yeah.
We thought they were waving goodbye, and then they cranked it up.
Yeah.
So hard to say. Maybe. They also kind of crashed and burned on the wrestling figures. People didn't really like them. They didn't really sell. You'll see the Matt Cardona and the Brian Meyer sitting in stores pretty frequently.
Yeah.
I think NECA would be a nice choice, right?
Yeah.
I feel like NECA is becoming like closer and closer to like the #1 toy company.
Yeah.
Like every day that goes by, they do something where you're like,
Smart.
whoa.
It'd probably up the price point, but at least like they would come with more stuff.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit more.
Here's one that I think a lot of people probably haven't thought of. When Ringside Collectibles put out their in-house figures, they were accused of being Jazwares figures with a different box. People thought Ringside Collectibles was just repurposing Jazwares figures and calling them something else. Ringside Collectibles could take the AEW license. But I don't think they will, because I bet you WWE would not distribute with them anymore if they did.
Yeah.
Because they are a vindictive company. So those are probably...
Dude, the other one, which probably wouldn't happen anymore, and again, I know nothing about wrestling whatsoever. I only know what you tell me, and I'll watch the occasional major figure. What is it called?
Major Wrestling Figure Podcast.
So there's that one. But what's their brand called?
Major.
Major?
Yeah, they just changed the name of it to Major.
But the toy brand.
Yeah,
Oh,
Major.
okay. But that dude is back in WWE, right? So he would be able
Matt
to
Cardona
do it.
is back in WWE.
But otherwise, like, why wouldn't they have like a crack at like, oh, we're gonna make these wrestling figures?
I'm not really sure how that works. His contract may have language that says anybody but AEW.
Yeah.
But if you watch their podcast, or if you listen to it, but they'll go through the news, and then he'll go, oh, I got a phone call, and he'll leave. Then they'll talk about the AEW news.
Weird.
Because he can't be there. He can't do it, like, contractually.
Yeah. So then there you go.
And then they'll make fun of him, being like, "Oh, he's got the bladder of a 6-year-old or whatever." Like, so that would be a weird one.
Wild.
Another option is they just don't have an exclusive license with anybody, and they just do a figure here and there with they sell their license out like the same way that
Turtles and
Ninja Turtles or somebody like that has it, where it's like multiple companies making a little bit of something here and there. This company made a Kenny Omega, that company made a John Moxley.
Wait, who did the Street Fighter wrestling crossover? Are those
Mattel. Those are Mattel.
Oh, okay. So that wasn't it was WWE people.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, because Jada has the Street Fighter license.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And Storm Collectibles. But that might only be in Japan, and then they get repurposed here or something. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
Here's what I think is the most likely scenario, though. I happen to have insider knowledge that there is... I don't want to... How do I put this so I don't get sued? There is a company that AEW works with very closely who distributes merchandise for them on the regular, every single day, advertised constantly, that all wrestling fans are familiar with. But what wrestling fans don't know is that Tony Khan bought that company and owns that company and is distributing his own stuff through that company, as well as independent wrestler stuff through that company.
Man, you hopefully don't get anybody fired.
I mean, I'm not saying it outright.
Yeah.
It should be pretty clear.
Honestly, dude, it makes sense. Like, why wouldn't you go that route? If you're a dude who solely because don't they own, like, the Jaguar football team?
His dad owns the Jaguars.
Okay, so then...
The family owns
why
the Jaguars.
wouldn't you just, like...
So that's what I'm saying is they just go in-house.
In-house.
They just one of these companies that I just mentioned, or a company that we haven't heard of, they just buy that company and they just do it in-house and just distribute it their own way.
You hire all the dudes that got laid off.
We're not exactly. We're not talking about the Khan family has $1 billion. They are multi-billionaires. it gets talked about frequently that if they so choose, they could just buy WWE at any moment because they're more valuable than that company is.
Crazy.
AEW isn't, but the cons are. So they could just do it in-house. And I think that's the most likely scenario because this is how billionaires behave. They just have to be in control.
Well, you know, we, as billionaires, we typically... I can't even pretend.
I'm preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically my outlook on the past, present, and future. In summary, I think maybe one of my favorite toy lines ever. Like ever. They have so many just diamonds. They have so many that like my Kenny Omega, my Young Bucks, they made a Kazuchika Okada. Nobody else did that. No, like if it wasn't for them, there wouldn't be an Okada 6-inch scale articulated figure. A couple of the MJFs are really good. I'm like in love with my bloody John Moxley. Chris Jericho is one of my favorite wrestlers ever. I got the Chase, which I paid a lot of money for because I wanted the Le Champion version of him, which is like one of his greatest runs. I have my Mattel Ultimate CM Punk on display because it is displaying a moment that I cherish. But when I made that switch and I picked up the AEW one to put the Mattel one in, the AEW one is way better. Way better. It's constructed better. It moves better. The tattoos look better. They didn't wuss out on his G.I. Joe tattoo and his Pepsi tattoo because they're not as afraid of a lawsuit. They're just sometimes a better product. The Supreme line, man, like the Kenny Omega Supreme and the John Moxley Supreme and the my Cody Rhodes is not a Mattel Cody Rhodes. Since he went back to WWE, they have made 1,254 Cody Rhodes figures. None of them are as good as the AEW Jazwares Supreme. None of them. Yeah, man, I will cherish this company and I will retroactively go back and pick up some of the ones that I missed. Because now I'm not worried about the ones that are coming forward. The wave is not coming at you anymore. Yeah. It's a weird, like, liberation that happens when a toy line ends. That I haven't really experienced a lot as an adult collector. Yeah. But yeah, I love AEW Jazwares. I'm going to continue to love AEW Jazwares. I'm kind of like happy that it's over and happy that I can look back and just look at what already exists and hunt that down. So we'll see what happens in the future. Hit us up at Mighty Champions and let us know what your predictions are.
New at 11, buyer beware. A local family is outraged over a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toy that they bought for their son. It says a variety of phrases, but the family believes one of them includes a swear word that starts with a B.
All right. The news. It is a really cool but pretty weird news week this week. The first thing that I want to talk about, because it's kind of near and dear to my heart, you might have seen on the Mighty Champions Instagram page. I was scrolling through Reddit, and one of the action figure pages on Reddit posted this story that Mikey Ruckus, who is the producer of AEW's music, he makes the theme songs and the pay-per-view songs and any kind of noise you hear that isn't licensed, he made it, and he does a phenomenal job. If you haven't listened to Sting's entrance music, put that on in the gym. He bought the rights to WMAC Masters.
So tell me what that is.
Okay, Mikey hit me up when I posted it and was like, yo... so WMAC Masters is a TV show from probably 93, 94, 95, something like that. It's capitalizing on the extreme boom that is karate, right? Yes. And it is filmed in Universal Studios, and it's a fictional contest, a fictional competition with all these martial artists using their real names. And then on top of that, they have gimmicks, right?
Yeah.
The Machine and Superstar and I forget all of them, like Nightwolf and Turbo and all this kind of stuff. And then the host of this competition is Shannon Lee, Bruce Lee's daughter.
Gotcha.
And they will, they like, you hang out with them backstage while you see them talk to each other, and they're either talking crap or being friends or whatever, right? Like wrestling. But then they compete and they go out into Universal Studios where they've got the junkyard or what it's like a set, and then they fight a gang of faceless like putties for like a specific amount of time. Then they fight each other, and they have life bars on the sides of the screen. And then it's like a hit-based system like actual karate competition is. And then whoever wins, they have like their little symbols in the studio, and like the loser's one will blow out. And then there's a belt that everybody has a little icon, and you're collecting the other people's icons. So over the course of a season, if you get 10, then you earn the right to fight for the championship. It sort of works the way that the Mortal Kombat tournament works, but it's totally fictional. It's really just displaying fight choreography. It's a karate choreography show, kind of with like a little bit of pro wrestling elements. I watched an episode of it this morning. It's rad. It's all on YouTube.
Wow,
Yeah.
Never heard of it in my entire life.
You know the movie, the original Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah,
You know the first guy that Liu Kang fights, the black dude with like the long dreads?
Yeah.
That's the Machine on WMAC Masters.
interesting.
So Mikey Ruckus bought the rights to this, which I need to start keeping an eye on rights that become available. Like, how much did that cost?
Yeah.
And he's going to make action figures.
Beautiful.
He did that with the intention of making action figures, which I'm like, would I buy that? I don't know that I would or if I wouldn't. I got to see them and decide. I might do it just to support it.
Yeah.
Because I watched it as a kid and I loved it. So, but yeah, keep an eye out for that.
Pretty wild.
You weren't expecting that kind of an answer. Okay, let's go over to McFarlane. I don't know if there was like a live stream or a toy show.
Yeah.
There was a live stream.
Yeah.
So I made another prediction that came true. I did a whole segment on here talking about starting lineups. And I believe I said something to the effect, if starting lineups doesn't do it, somebody else is going to, because it's just sitting there. Well, McFarlane listens to the show, and they have decided to make sports figures.
Hey everybody, this is Todd McFarlane. That was a great episode.
They are going to make articulated sports figures. They're starting off with NBA legends. I'm just looking at Preternia.com. I don't know if these are called NBA legends or if they are just saying these are NBA legends. But they showed a Larry Bird and a Magic Johnson. It's really tough to tell the scale on this photo. They could be 3 3/4 or like reaction figures. They could also be 6 inches. I can't tell because they're just standing in the black void. Generally what happens with McFarlane is by the time this episode releases, they'll be on store shelves, let alone like better pictures, right?
Yeah.
They move fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, I have to have the Magic Johnson. Like, have to have the Magic Johnson.
First McFarlane purchase.
Yeah. They also showed off NFL legends Troy Aikman and Jerry Rice. I have to have the Jerry Rice, which would
Second McFarlane purchase.
which would oddly be my third Jerry Rice figure because I have 2 starting lineups.
Wow.
And then so hopefully that takes off. Like, if you guys are sports fans, find a way to support this because your team won't get made unless these figures sell, right? So even if you buy them and stock them or buy them and resell them or whatever, like, I hate Troy Aikman and Larry Bird because I'm a 49ers and Lakers fan. So, but I might buy them and then just put them in the back of the closet and sell them later on because I want the line to take off.
Sure.
They also showed off a bunch of Super Friends, like Farmer Superman.
Man, so those are really interesting to me, but it still ties into what we talked about a couple episodes ago or whatever, but just with McFarlane stepping their game up. That doesn't do anything for me, but it probably does something for someone.
Yeah, it's
changes-
based on a 70s kid show.
Yeah,
right?
but
Like,
it's a completely different body design. So they're not just painting like the average horrible Superman figure that they do.
yeah.
Like,
And it comes with Mr. Mixoplex, whatever his name is. There's a Super Friends Black Vulcan.
Yeah.
There's a Super Friends Wonder Woman. There's 2 Super Friends Wonder Women. There's a Red Platinum Evil Wonder Woman. And then a regular Wonder Woman. There is a Red Platinum Crystallized Superman. I remember seeing that on the show.
Yeah.
There is a Red Platinum Phantom Zone Batman. So that's it for the Super Friends. They also, your prediction came true. Did you see this?
This is the Savage Dragon.
Savage Dragon, which they are calling. I saw it on somebody else's post. It's a new line, Elite Comic Founder line.
Crazy.
Basically, what you were doing, you were just continuing the whatever it was, the mythic superheroes or whatever.
Yeah. Kind of crazy.
But this Savage Dragon looks freaking cool.
Yeah.
For the 11 of us who remember Savage Dragon.
I never even, I don't even know what that's from. I really don't even know who that character is.
Early 90s comic. He was huge in the Wizard magazine days.
Wild.
And then they also showed the continuation of the Batman reanimated series line that's Target exclusives. I love the existence of this line. I hate the execution of it.
Nah, I like them. I think they look good. They
look good, but they've got that old, weird, like robot articulation that like you can't really pose these or display them any other way than just how they come.
The animation style doesn't really give a lot of room for posing, but
that's fair, I guess.
You know what I'm saying? Like, can't help the fact that, Bruce Timm was like, and little feet, and a big old upper body.
Yeah. So you've got these all look good. Yeah. So you've got the ventriloquist and Scarface.
Love them.
Two of my favorite characters in the show. Character. Like like such a crazy cool dynamic. You've got Harvey Bullock, which I don't think Kenner ever did. I don't think he got into the line until Mattel had it.
Probably, yeah.
You've got Talia al Ghul, and they just call her Talia. You've got a really good-looking Robin in the red and black. And then you have got... Renee Montoya.
Yeah.
Which I know she was never in the Kenner line. So those are the reanimated. We did miss last week when we were talking about that just wave of Batmen, the Golden Age. The Red Platinum Golden Age looks really good. It is just a change of head sculpt on the same body that they've used 100 times, but still looks good.
Same different bat signal too, or bat insignia on his chest.
Yeah,
it reminds me of like a little bit of the Darwin Cook.
Yeah. Has that style. Like frontier throwback kind of look to it.
I really like.
And then the Mortal Kombat classics. Another, you have to say this with McFarlane a lot. This is a, no pun intended, transparent, naked cash grab, but I still like it. So they've got the Ice Clone Sub-Zero, which is just the Sub-Zero, but translucent blue plastic. And then they also have the Reptile, which is just the Reptile in translucent plastic. So but I give this a pass. This isn't McFarlane being lazy. This is Mortal Kombat having been lazy, and they're making figures that they should be making. It just so happens to be a cost-saving thing.
Yeah.
I can't fault McFarlane for this, and if you are collecting this line, you have to have these. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, sorry.
Yeah.
And then in Jada, there are the... Mega Men. So Snake Man, Proto Man, and Gemini Laser. I think those are all available to pre-order right now. I don't know much about Mega Man. It's always been one of those things that's been on my list of things to like look into. And I just never, because I wasn't a Nintendo, after the original Nintendo, I wasn't a Super Nintendo, or I was N64 later on. I missed Mega Man.
Yeah.
But I always thought it was cool. A cool concept. What I have played, love the music and stuff like that. And generally the guys I know who like Mega Man are guys I like. It isn't one of those things where I go, I don't like you, so I don't like that.
Yeah.
These figures look freaking sweet. Jada does such an amazing job with everything that they touch. NECA, in their Mirage Turtles line, showed off a Savanti Romero Warlord that is 7 inches. I'm not familiar with this character, but I love the Mirage line. I love the like hard lines, and that kind of stuff, instead of cell shading. It looks awesome. I don't know the character, but he appears to be a samurai warlord of some sort. Mezco showed off their Spider-Man 2099.
Pretty cool looking.
It looks great. Do you get the impression that Mezco is just like a step behind the timeline, and they're pretty much putting out characters who just got hammered pretty hard by like the affordable toy lines, like the X-Men 97s or this or whatever? Like, we just got a new Spider-Man 2099. It's always like a character where I'm like, all right, well, like we seen you.
Yeah,
They always look really good though.
Yeah, that one looks really good, and I think the colors pop, and it has like 3 heads or whatever. Like,
Yeah, tons of accessories.
again, I think we're talking about people who like don't live in the same
yeah, they're
like
not.
area code. It's like you got people who buy Mezco, you got people who buy the affordable ones. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do both.
And then lastly, Mondo put out 2 announcements this week. They teased a Batgirl. Probably will be revealed by the time this episode comes out, because they tend to do that. They do a little tease and then a big reveal. Batgirl from Batman the Animated Series. And then they showed off a Galactus in the soft vinyl line. It's 15 inches tall. I think it's a Funko Pop. I think it's a 15-inch tall Funko Pop. And I kind of am like, I see you, Mondo.
Yeah.
You're not getting by me with a 15-inch tall.
That's going to Toy Joy. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a Toy Joy toy. Try to say that 5 times fast.
Did you have any other news you wanted to discuss?
Nah, man. I think you captured all of them that I would be on my radar.
Let's talk about some obscure toys.
Madballs, gross for one, gross for all. We play with a Madball, they're gross, funny, yucky, sick. There's 8, so you can take your pick. We throw, catch, it's fun. There's so much gross in every one. Freaky fun is what they're for. There's so much ugly, so much more. Gross for one, gross for all. We play with a Madball. We play with a Madball. We play with a Madball. Madball.
Freaky fun for everyone, sold separately from Amtoy.
Madball.
Yeah, so we had somebody, a good pal of the podcast, our buddy Eddie, who goes to our gym, who we had no idea was a fellow collector, and now he just happens to be somebody that we talk shop, game recognized game.
Ain't that the truth?
And so, we put out a questionnaire of like, what are some other toy lines that we should talk about that we haven't talked about yet? And he mentioned the Inhumanoids. And I've never known who that is other than just like watching the Toy Federation podcast, because you obviously see their incredible knowledge of toys, but also just people bringing in and selling or buying or whatever. And it made me think about how there is a large portion of the toy community or toy lines that we don't talk about, which is the obscure toys. Now, it's based off of a cartoon, right?
Yep. Inhumanoids was a show.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, and this is something that I've brought up several times, because it's a belief, it's a working theory right now, and maybe a philosophy, which is the belief that your thing chooses you, right? Like wrestling chose you at a young age. Wrestling didn't choose me, and I think about it all the time, because I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling. So did wrestling miss me because I wasn't allowed to watch it? Therefore, I neglected it on purpose. There was a group of like my friends that I had that went to our church that they were just like rough, tough. They all looked like the Thing without rocks, without the rock skin.
Oh, Doyle rules.
Pretty much, like legitimately. And they were just like rough, tough. Like they when it was playing football, it wasn't 2-hand touch. It was tackle.
Yeah.
In the yard.
Yeah.
They loved wrestling. They all wore Jinko shorts down to their ankles.
They were all John Cena.
They were doing body slams on the trampoline, and it was Rage in a Cage or whatever, Hell in a Cell, like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember just seeing this shocking thing, and I'm thinking to myself, like,
wrestling fans are lunatics.
yeah, and that was my interpretation of wrestling fans, which is just like, bad kids.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Sometimes, man, like I'm guilty of this when I was young.
Yeah.
Very guilty of this. Is the people who I knew who were a fan of something made me not a fan of that thing.
Yeah.
I didn't like the Nintendo 64 because I went to a girl's house one time and her younger brother and his friends were playing Smash Brothers, and I didn't like those kids. So I didn't play that crap. A friend of mine, he had a friend who, like, we were not friends, but we had a mutual friend. That kid loved Nirvana. I didn't listen to Nirvana until I was like 24 years old. Like, Star Wars, I talked about it. Yep. Like, I didn't like the Star Wars kids, man. So sometimes that just happens.
Dude, that's 99% of how I make decisions today. I don't like something if so-and-so likes it. But it's really fascinating to me because of that concept of if these things choose us when we're younger, you know, people like, oh, do you like anime? No, I do not. Well, I mean, they're really good anime. I don't care if...
There's nothing you're going to say to me that's going to convince me to give a chance to something that I've already decided that I don't like in pop culture. Food or something like that, yes. But, like, something like that, there's stuff that I like that I wouldn't even suggest to you.
Yeah,
because
of course.
I know
vice versa.
Yeah, why would I? Yeah.
Yeah, and like there are some animes that I can absolutely respect, like just like Cowboy Bebop being like kind of, I guess maybe the classic ones where they weren't like, or maybe they were at the time, I don't know, but like the really ultra beautiful like cyber kind of future noir type stuff, which Akira. Is really like that's beautiful. Yeah. That's beautiful. Like and maybe that's like what more my language, you know, that
Have you seen Akira?
Yeah. Or I need to rewatch it. I like started it a couple times, then fell asleep, and then like kind of woke up in the ending. So
I think anybody that's a fan of hand drawn animation can't go without seeing
for sure. Also, the motorcycle slide has been done in like 200
everything ever. I thought it was about motorcycles.
Yeah, me too. But it's like that type of stuff, right? It's like there's something that clicks in your brain when you are younger that just is like, I'm going to attach it to you. Obviously, like, you know, there's like a meme or whatever of the 5-year-old, which says like 5-year-olds will make their personality trucks, dinosaurs,
macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, like that. Like, it's like that type of thing. But it's like, but how does it speak to you on that level? Why does it speak to you on that level? For me, it was like, Power Rangers chose me, like karate and fighting and Batman and X-Men and Wolverine and doing my hair like Wolverine and just, that's how my hair was going to be for the day. Like, legitimately. You know what I'm saying? I haven't told that yet, but like, man, it was just like trying to get it to do the spikes, and then I just looked like freaking Beethoven or something like that, right? And then, so anyway, it's like that type of stuff speaks to me. But then when I would think about kids who liked horror at a young age, I remember like these bad kids. Again, I grew up in church, so like the majority of my like
if we grew up together, I would have been one of these bad kids.
You are absolutely on that list, man, which is hilarious. But they would be like kids that would just talk about like horror movies, or like it's just straight up like silver tooth activities. You know what I'm saying? Like my cousin who
silver tooth activities.
Dude, my cousin, like, man, that kid would flash a smile of just full-blown 40 freaking silver teeth.
It's all Joe Pesci in Home Alone when he smiles at him.
Exactly. Bing! Yeah, dude. And it's like, so wrestling fell into that category where I'm like, these kids are in prison now. You know? They would say like the kids that would flip their eyelids.
Yeah.
They were like, those kids are in jail now. And it's like, yes. They were also like watching Chucky too young. You know what I'm saying?
Who's you people? Who's they?
I'm looking right at you, man. No, but I'm just saying. So when I think about those obscure toy lines, it's like, you know, I look at the Inhumanoids. To me, it's just funky. It's bizarre, but like people love it, and they're probably expensive. The market is there for them. I would say like Madballs, right? Madballs are another. I mentioned Madballs in front of a client the other day, and he was like, Madballs. Why does that sound familiar? He's got like a 40-something-year-old son. I was like, I guarantee your son brought it up at some point.
Yeah.
But like, why would I want a Madball? It's like an ugly little creature, but some people just had like this, like, yeah, maybe it's shock value. Maybe it's like, you know, they a lot of times, like, if people liked monster stuff when they were younger, right? Mm-hmm. They loved, like, again, I loved dinosaurs, but I wasn't going to go after like gruesome, crazy monster type stuff. Maybe because I wouldn't have been allowed to do that. But then those are the ones that grow up and do like makeup artists that do like monster, or like Fangoria magazine.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, that was the question of like, okay, we talk about these these like obscure toy lines. But then it's like, but what draws people to that?
I think it's a little bit of... I subscribe to your theory that your thing chooses you. I think that's true. I also think that there's another theory that runs parallel to it, and maybe it has to do with, I'm just kind of stream of consciousness, like thinking this as I'm saying it, that it has to do with when you're growing up also, right? Because I think most people would agree, like, you grew up in like the 90s and 2000s, but I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I had way more things presented to me to be a fan of. And the stuff that didn't choose me should have. Captain Planet, Madballs, Creepy Crawlers, Inhumanoids, these things that got mentioned when I posited, what do you want to hear us talk about?
Garbage Pail Kids.
Garbage Pail Kids.
Disgusting. Why would I ever want that?
And I think the reason that those things didn't attach is a matter of bandwidth. Because I already had locked onto Ninja Turtles, karate, wrestling, Van Damme, Chucky. I already had locked onto those things, and I didn't have the capacity for more interests. So really cool stuff like Captain Planet and Inhumanoids and Madballs and the Cowboys from Space or whatever it's called, and
Brave Star,
and the Silverhawks, and I just didn't latch on to those things because, like, you're 7 and you're like, who's got the time? And I think maybe distribution also. Maybe they weren't on the shelves where I was at. Madballs were, because I remember walking right past Madballs and being like, I don't care. Like, it just, what are you gonna? You just throw it? It's a ball.
So that's my thought process, because we talked about Pogs last week or whatever.
Yeah.
Right, and it's like I wonder if it's the same fidget spinner, right? Like that type of thing where somebody, Madballs comes out, somebody gets it, brings it to school, people freak out about it because I don't know if you squeeze them and their eyeballs pop out or whatever, I don't know, and then it creates a trend, and then it's like bam, 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 people go crazy for it, but. Yeah, like...
I think Madballs was more about, like, you gotta collect them all was, like, the approach with that.
Yeah, it's like Bad Kids if you're edgy because you also listen to AC/DC on the side. And then,
love AC/DC.
And then if you think about it, too, with, like, Chucky, right? Like, kids who were introduced to Chucky at a young age, it was, like, something you weren't supposed to be doing. Something that you did behind closed doors, or your parents just didn't care and you were already kind of bad. And because Chucky's silver tooth activity, man, like that. In fact, I have a memory where, like, my mom has like 5 brothers that are named Jimmy. I don't understand why, and I really have never thought to question it other than right now. So,
bro, you really are white trash Bruce Wayne.
I am white trash Bruce Wayne, except that I'm Mexican, and so is she. I brought that up today. I've been running that bit for a minute, and it's killing every time. Yeah, I told my dad that too, and he was freaking dying laughing. He loved it. But yeah, but it's a Hispanic side of my family, right?
Yeah.
So my mom's side. And the one time there were like 11 kids came over, and we were like riding in the back of the truck, and then one kid says like, we got to get out of here. Chucky's coming. Couldn't sleep that night. I don't know why. He said Chucky was coming. I don't know why.
You didn't know what Chucky even was.
Well, I had like heard whispers of a red-headed demon, little freckle-faced doll that terrified me, and I was just thinking like, those are bad kids, and they all have silver teeth. So, yeah, man, the correlation.
Oh my god,
it's funny, but yeah, like and we were talking about this like when we were coming up with the segment idea. It was like, okay, well, if monsters really wouldn't relate. I don't know if because like, you know what is weird? I would get on like cryptozoology.com.
Yeah, you're interested in like Bigfoot or
I would get like Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, giant sharks, like whatever. And
yeah.
But then when I would think about like the Inhumanoids, just seeing what the toys look like, those look like bad guys. Those are the guys that like my other heroes are going to fight against.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to go after and try to collect them.
Yeah, but like, I think it has to do with like age too, because
age,
in the
influence.
early 90s, gross was king. the Toxic Crusaders, and like
perfect example. Oh my God, how do we not think about that?
Yeah, like the appearance of a bad guy being a good guy was the thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's where the Hulk comes from.
The Hulk
like,
and the Thing.
And the Thing. That was like in the 90s, like that whole toxic sludge
everything came with that, basically.
Ooze and ghosts and all that kind of stuff.
Ivan Ooze from Power Rangers.
was locked in right then.
I see the Toxic Avenger toys and I'm just like, yeah, like that's, but just some bad kid would want that.
Dude, that was my wheelhouse.
That's so funny to me.
I unlocked God mode on the Toxic Crusader video game because I went into the menu where it just said password, and it was A through Z and 1 through...
When did you start smoking cigarettes?
I've never smoked a cigarette in my life.
Really?
Absolutely everything else.
Okay, I was like, he either carried a lighter with him at all times.
I did.
You son of a gun.
And knives. I had knives on me at a very early age.
Oh my God.
Yo, you think you know me so well. But I just, like, it was like 0 through 9 and like A to Z or something like that. And then my first guess was start at A and 10 and then go B, 9, C, 8 and work my way backwards on both of them. Unlocked God mode.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like a core memory. Yeah.
So, okay. That would be my next kind of pathway. I brought up to one of my clients the other day, I forgot about, I think he was talking about things that he's getting rid of.
Yeah.
That he wants to hold on to out of sentimental value because of like family, and I think he's 70, so it's like he's had a lot of life, a lot of collecting things. And I told the story about the Mystic Knights. I've never had a Mystic Knights action figure in my existence, never watched the show one time. Went to my aunt's house in somewhere. I don't know where it was. It was extremely liminal, meaning that the lighting was like very dim. It could have been a dream for all I know. Found Mystic Knights, stuck with me long enough, 27 years later or however much, and it just was like, bam. Yeah. I love that toy. I want that toy. I still want to collect them now.
Yeah.
It's part of my on-deck collections list. So it's like, when we've broken down why certain toys mean more to us, there's like key points probably, right? I should probably sit down and write this out because I'm kind of coming off the dome right now. But like the 5 points of like why this toy means the most to you, or like why it means to you, like what it means to you.
I think we're kind of unintentionally collaborating on something here because what I was talking about was as an adult when nostalgia is not present.
Yeah.
What you're talking about is the total inverse.
Yes.
The yin and yang, where nothing but nostalgia is present. Then if that's the case, what actually like matters?
So you told the story. Okay, you get home from school. You go in there, you grab a bowl that is like the size of a mixing bowl or something like that.
You're making me salivate right now.
You dump half a box of Fruity Pebbles.
Whole
or whatever.
box, bro.
Whole box,
bro.
And then you watch what?
Spider-Man.
But then there you go. It's like that independence, the ability to like, the food is related to it.
Yeah.
And then just the excitement of cartoons after having like a long day. So your reward system at the end of every day was that.
Yeah.
So then,
after having endured education.
Exactly. And then, so that makes me think about, okay, so for the people that were like watching, you know, some of like the one-off cartoons, was Brave Star a cartoon?
Yeah. It was like, a lot of these ones that we're talking about were like a
little
season.
one-off.
A season. Like a lot of times. But stuff used to stick around in the zeitgeist longer back then.
Yeah.
Like if it made it onto TV, there was hardly anything on TV. So a lot of people saw it. And it would become like I brought up James Bond Jr. to somebody the other day. Jr. And I was like, do you remember James Bond Jr.? And he was like, yep. And I was like, I have a core memory of telling kids at school about it, and they didn't know what I was talking about. And he was like, me too.
Wow.
I don't think it made it a whole season.
That's crazy. I mean, Max Steel, like, I feel like was that for a little while, but then it kind of came back in like 2013, I think. They tried to like modernize it. But Max Steel's a good example of that, where it's just like it's like they came out with a new toy thing or a new show, produced toys for it, bought into it, and then it died. And then it's like somebody would look at a Max, like I would be embarrassed to buy Max Steel because I'm just basically buying a Ken doll.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like, but you don't understand.
Ken doll with a grappling hook.
Yeah, like he comes with a grappling hook, but he's also handsome.
Barbie loves him.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's worth diving into, you know, like Spawn. Again, Spawn was something that was just sort of like this bad kid at my church that would just be like, do you ever know what Spawn is? And I feel like I remember plugging my ears like, no! Like, you can't tell me that. It's too bad. You know, like walking in Blockbuster and then like kind of being in like the adult animation area and seeing like the Spawn animated HBO.
The HBO show. I have that. It's here somewhere.
Yeah, there you go. And then just seeing
because of Silvertooth Activity.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. And like, so I
just thought of a shirt. The skull that is on Sid's shirt in Toy Story.
Just silver.
And it says Silvertooth Activity. Give it a silver tooth.
100%. Dude, that's funny. But it might just be like my own reflection of just growing up it's like I was isolated, but not really. I was homeschooled, but like still made it out.
But out at church all the time.
But so it's just like growing up in like a Christian household where like you had access to certain things, but then they had a ceiling. Again, like watching the episode of the new Batman Adventures with the farmer that's like has the bull that he's like injecting with like steroids to make him like massive, and then there's giant bugs walking around like giant praying mantis, and my dad gets home from work and walks over and sees the TV and says, you know, Christian, I really don't know if this is something you should be watching.
Oh, no.
And I felt like I just like jumped on the floor and did the worm just to be like distract him or something like that. Like, check this out. Do a front flip off the couch. Also, I had a core memory unlocked too. Dude, karate, like, now that I think about it, man, like, karate did some weird things to my brain. Again, I said that I felt like until I was about 20, that like a 9-year-old, I felt like I had the ability to fight a full-grown man, and that never changed until I was 20 years old and thought, wait a minute, what? But dude, I had a hole in my wall in my room, and see if you can guess why. You'll never will, but see if you can guess.
Well,
why.
Obviously you didn't kick or punch, or you wouldn't be asking me to guess.
I tried to run up the wall and do a backflip, because guess who does that? Everybody that I'm watching on TV. And my dad walks in and says, what happened? I'm like, I tried to run up the wall and do a backflip. What?
It's even funnier because my image of you as a child is what you look like now.
Yeah, it's about right. Same mustache and everything, man. Dude, I'm like, but it was a real thought that I had, you know? It was just like, man, like throwing a knife to get it to stick into something.
Yeah.
Like,
I did that a lot.
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
did
saying,
that a lot,
man. Like,
but I had a so like any kind of like double-sided knives or really long knives or switchblades were illegal in California, but they were legal in Colorado. And one of my really good friends, shout out to Ethan, is the same guy that I said watched Mortal Kombat like 11 times in one night. His grandma or somebody lived in Colorado, and she was cool, man. She was cool. So we would order tons of knives. Send them to his grandma in Colorado. She would turn around and send them to us in California. I was armored up. I have many of them still.
do you ever have throwing stars?
Yeah.
Dude, we got a hold of some throwing stars one time, and it was like almost like you didn't know what to do with them because it was like everything you have ever imagined. I still have a pair of nunchucks that I made.
I was looking for a wiffle ball. No, I wasn't looking for it. I was clearing some stuff out of the garage for work. I found wiffle ball bats from when I was a kid.
Whoa.
Including Wonder Bat and my sword.
Dude, one time we found a sword in the woods that was like, now that I think about it, it probably was like from the Civil War. Like, we were like digging around there and we just saw a handle sticking out and we pulled it out and it was like a Mexican kind of like a Mexican-American kind of...
What happened to it?
I don't remember, but we were just like let's play Lord of the Rings. So, yeah, anyway, man. But I guess there's just still more questions to be asked out there.
Yeah, so since this conversation about obscure toys has been basically anything but that, the conversation at large is like, why does your thing choose you, or why do you choose your thing, or why does it not choose you, right? I guess is kind of just the thing that we're pondering here. The question's too big for us to answer.
Yeah.
But, thank you guys for participating in that question I threw out there of like, what do you guys want to hear us talk about more? And like pretty much everything that came back was stuff that me and you went, huh?
Yeah.
And then we were like, man, I guess like everybody's got their thing. You know what I mean? We've obviously got our thing, but
I will say, because even though I don't like the Toxic Avenger, like the Inhumanoids or whatever, like they're like funky to look at, right? Like they're big toys, but it's like those I can respect more. You know what I'm saying? Like I can respect somebody's love for them.
Dude, I'm equally interested in other people's thing, even if I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'll nerd out with you if I do like it, but I want to know, why is that your thing? How did that happen? When did you get into it? How hard were you into it? Where did you buy it? Even if it's something I don't personally care about.
Yeah.
It's the idea of being a nerd about something and the idea of collecting it that I'm interested in. It's just so, like, if it happens to be wrestling or, superheroes or whatever, then I can relate on a different level.
Yeah.
But yeah, very interesting stuff. If you guys want to continue the conversation, get at us at Mighty Champions. We would love to hear from you guys. Let us know what you think about AEW Jazwares. Let us know what you thought about the news. Let us know about whether or not what chose you or what didn't choose you.
Some other toy lines we missed. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of obscure, like millions that we didn't bring up. So hit us up, let us know, participate in the polls and things like that we put up, answer, ask questions, all that at Mighty Champions. But we will catch you guys in 1 week's time. Peace.